Back to in-person learning, a big day for parents, students, and teachers. Hello, I'm Denise Koch.
And I'm Vic Carter. Hundreds of students across the region return to an actual classroom today for the first time in nearly a year.
WJZ is live in Owings Mills. Avajoy Burnett is at a school where some of the youngest students return to the classroom. Avajoy.
Good afternoon to you both. Well, teachers, principals, staff members have been preparing for this for weeks now, and today they got the chance to put it all to the test. And of course, things looked a lot different. Instead of handshakes and hugs, there were elbow bumps, and of course, everyone had a mask on.
It's been nearly a year since we've seen images of school buses rolling in and students hopping off. In Baltimore County, some of the youngest started a new routine.
What grade are you going to be in today?
Kindergarten.
Quinn's father also happens to be the principal at her school.
I am confident in the school and what we've done to prepare to follow all CDC guidelines and make sure kids can come back.
Students in Baltimore County will be going back in groups. On Mondays and Tuesdays, Cohort A will go to school. Thursdays and Fridays, the second group will get their turn. And for 3 other days, there will be virtual learning. Teachers will have to get used to assisting both groups at once.
Just like when we first started in virtual learning, that was a challenge. And our teachers at our school, and I'm quite sure the teachers in Baltimore County, they would pick it up quickly. We're very resilient.
This is what it looked like in Baltimore City as the mayor and CEO of schools welcome students back there.
Happy first day back in. Thank you, you all.
Educators across the entire state are worried that there could be a COVID-19 outbreak in their building. Dr. Sonia Santolisa says there will be regular testing in Baltimore City as they try to stay ahead of the virus.
It goes to the lab and very quickly comes back to show us if any of the students or people in that cluster have any strain of COVID.
Now, the principal here at this elementary school here in Baltimore County told us about 1/3 of his students chose the in-person option. And then over in Baltimore City, the CEO of schools said about 25% of the parents there chose to have their children go back to in-person learning. Live at 4, Avajoy Burnett for WJZ.
All right, thank you, Avajoy. Well, the first doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, made right here in Baltimore, shipped out today. It got emergency use approval over the weekend. Elise Preston reports for WJZ on the benefits of this vaccine.
Employees at Johnson & Johnson's facility in Kentucky cheered as co-workers carried boxes of the company's COVID-19 vaccine to the loading dock. Some wrote well wishes on the boxes.
These doses out the door right away to ensure vaccines get into arms as quickly as possible.
On Face the Nation, Dr. Anthony Fauci said Americans should not worry that clinical trials show Johnson & Johnson's vaccine offered slightly less overall protection than the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines.
They are highly efficacious in many ways, including, importantly, preventing severe or critical disease. If you look at all 3 of them, they're really very good.
On CBS this morning, the company's CEO explained that some of the participants in its clinical trials were infected with variants of the virus that have become more widespread.
So whether it was the South African variant that we know is particularly challenging or the P2 variant in Brazil, our vaccine showed 85% effectiveness in severe disease, and it kept all the patients out of the hospital and from dying.
Johnson & Johnson's vaccine is the first one approved in the U.S. that requires only a single dose. It also doesn't need to be stored in extreme cold temperatures, making it easier to distribute.
Only around 4 million doses are in the initial shipment, so it may still be a while before the vaccine is available at a large number of vaccination sites.
The company expects to ship an additional 16 million shots by the end of the month and 100 million by summer. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott has declared today COVID-19 Victims and Survivors Memorial Day. Several city leaders gathered this morning to commemorate a day of remembrance to honor the lives lost in Baltimore due to the pandemic. They acknowledge this has also been a trying time for survivors and those of us impacted by coronavirus indirectly.
Despite the challenges, we have also shown our collective strength and our ability to pull together and support those around us, our loved ones, and our families.
Officials also introduced the Floral Heart Project. Mayor Scott says volunteers across the country will lay floral hearts today to recognize the many losses. An early warning system to detect COVID-19 in the wastewater samples in some Baltimore area communities is working. Test samples from Latrobe homes detected elevated COVID-19 levels in the water. The Baltimore City Health Department is recommending that everyone who lives there get tested for the virus. Free testing will be offered starting tomorrow at the daycare center on Ashland Court. The Enoch Pratt Library is reopening all 21 locations across the city next week. The libraries will open at 25% capacity on Monday, March the 8th. Masks will be required and customers will have to sign in for contact tracing purposes. Computer use will also be limited to 2 hours and seating areas will be closed.